This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.
Tonight on the South Today, a small protest outside the Dunedin City Council in support of Councillor Lee Vandervis, who can't attend meetings. Anti-coal protesters appear in Dunedin's District Court following weekend action at the railway stations. And bus company Otago Road Services is parking up for good, affected by COVID and the loss of school bus contracts. Tēnā koutou katoa, kia ora, I'm Simon Anderson. There was a small protest outside this afternoon's Dunedin City Council meeting. 2 protesters and a child gathered outside supporting Councillor Lee Vandervis, who says the council is breaching government guidelines by not letting him attend meetings in person.
Leaving council to welcoming arms. Dunedin City Councillor Lee Vandervis was greeted by these 3 people after leaving today's regular DCC meeting this afternoon. Councillor Vandervis says his ability to fulfil his duties is being severely impacted by the decision to bar unvaccinated adults from council properties. He refused an official stand-up on-camera interview, but accused the Dunedin City Council of breaching protocol.
Further, it says the legislation will be very clear that access to essential services, local government is an essential service, including healthcare services, cannot be restricted based on vaccination status.
Vandervis insisted any attempt to restrict him on vaccination status is illegal, declining interviews and leaving with his supporters. Councils around the country are able to make their own decisions on whether or not to restrict access to some facilities like libraries, pools and museums. In Dunedin, the DCC has chosen a hardline approach, requiring vaccine passes to enter council-run venues, whereas some councils are allowing people open access. This afternoon's Dunedin City Council meeting continued as normal, despite the absence of Councillor Vandervis. In Dunedin, the South Today.
The Southern District has become the 5th region health board in New Zealand to enter the 90% club of double COVID-19 vaccination. The Ministry of Health says the Southern DHB passed the milestone this morning. The announcement came at the same time as a report of an investigation into the border case in the southern region. Doc's Green Lake Hartenfjordland National Park was listed as a location of interest out of what the ministry described as an abundance of caution. Meanwhile, Otago University has confirmed COVID-19 vaccinations or government exemptions will be compulsory for all staff, students, contractors and visitors next year. The decision was advised to staff and students by email today. Members of climate activism group Extinction Rebellion have shown support outside the Dunedin courthouse for anti-coal protesters arrested over the weekend. 8 members were arrested on Saturday after blocking a Canterbury-bound train carrying coal across St Andrew Street early that morning. An excursion train to Oamaru was also cancelled. One of the anti-coal activists says they were not protesting the legal charges and knew the risks of performing an act of civil disobedience. But he said the group was outside the Dunedin District Court to show support for those facing charges today. A man who allegedly locked himself in a Dunedin pub toilet because he didn't have a COVID-19 vaccine pass will be behind bars for at least a week. Police were called to the bog in George Street last night after staff reported he had no vaccine pass and would not leave. An officer involved in the incident suffered a suspected broken hand. The 46-year-old was granted interim name suppression when he appeared in the Dunedin District Court this afternoon. He was charged with aggravated assault, threatening to kill, possessing a knife, intentional damage and possessing cannabis. The defendant is due to appear in court again next Tuesday. Bus company Otago Road Services is preparing to close at the end of this year, ending a 74-year history of operating public transport services in Dunedin. The company's owners are blaming a combination of factors, including the end of the school bus contract.
George Barclay has been driving buses for about 3 decades and is thankful for many years of gainful employment.
I don't know, not really, nothing exceptional. just been a job day to day.
He's been on the Green Island school bus run for about 14 years, transporting many generations of youngsters. Otago Road Services manager Brent Sutherland says they'll stop operating more than 20 school bus services in the coastal Otago area at the end of the year. Barclay is going to miss working in transportation as he's been doing it all his life.
Before that, I was with the railways, and they took over their run for a while, and I was doing it.
Otago Road Services has been owned by the Sutherland family since 1976 by Reg and Bev Sutherland, with sons Brent and Wayne taking over operations in the late 1990s. Business uncertainty because of COVID-19, along with compliance costs, have contributed to the decision to wind down the business. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Whaakine still to come on the South Today. Christmas is cancelled for a community of Dunedin Christmas diners, and spilt milk in Waitaki may or may not be worth crying over. See you soon.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life. Tuesdays, 7:30.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
It's certainly being on a bike, the frustrations you get when people are behind you, they're impatient, you know, it's only 5 or 10 seconds more out of your day, and when you think about it, we're on a lot longer journey than you are, and just keeping space. It's not hard to give a metre, you know, even if it means waiting a minute or so to pass.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Your love lifted me higher than I've ever been lifted before. So keep it up, keep on lifting.
Namaino, welcome back. Christmas really has been cancelled for those used to joining Dunedin's annual community Christmas dinner. It's usually held at Dunedin Town Hall, but the Acts of Kindness Charitable Trust, which runs the festive dinner, was unwilling to exclude unvaccinated people. The Trust looked into various options, including separate dining areas or deliveries to homes. But trustee Grant Hardy says the logistics of providing a communal Christmas meal to both COVID-19 vaccinated and unvaccinated diners and volunteers proved too difficult. The event aims to provide some company for people who might otherwise be lonely on Christmas Day and attracts about 500 guests each year. There was no crying after a trailer rolled this morning, spilling milk across a rural Waitaki road. Emergency services were called to Smillies Road between Georgetown and Duntroon shortly before midday. The minor accident caused the milk truck trailer to roll while the cab remained upright. Police say there were no reports of injuries to the tanker driver. Diversions were put in place for motorists and the Otago Regional Council had been contacted. Queenstown baker Wendy Adams has whipped up some cakes for her family and charity after making it to the top 5 on Great Kiwi Bake Off. Her return to the kitchen follows some harsh critiques from judges on the TV show.
On your marks, get set, bake! Queenstown baker Wendy Banks has been busy whipping up treats after being kicked off the Great Kiwi Bake Off. But the Scottish mum of 3 is happy and relieved to be home. Banks finished in the top 5 and is proud of herself for giving it a go.
In terms of the journey, I'm really happy with how things ended up, and actually I did better than I thought because actually while I was up there I had to take more annual leave.
Banks's regular job is working as a transport engineer. She believes her baking has improved after being on the show, having learnt from other contestants.
All our bakes had to be original, and I really like that because you can't copy off somebody from the internet, and I like that part because then you try and make up something that's unique.
In the aftermath of Bake Off, she said she was never going to bake again following some of the judges' critiques, but now she's back busier than ever, focusing her attention on charity bakes around Queenstown.
But afterwards, I thought I was either going to go to it, I thought I'm never ever going to bake again. But then the reason I'm baking is for my family and they like it, and I love it, so it's my passion, so I shouldn't really stop because of that.
Among her recent charity bakes is a fruitcake fundraiser, which has already raised more than $2,000 for the Cancer Society. In Queenstown, the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, the Christchurch Wizard casts his spells over a Christchurch bakery, and we have your midweek weather. Hei koko ake nei.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life. Tuesdays, 7:30.
MTF Finance can help you turn the key on your next vehicle with a loan made just for you. TCs and lending criteria apply.
Hi, my name's Matt and I'm the Dines Group CEO. Dines is a company that's focused on selling logistics solutions to its customers. We're passionate about selling efficiency, and we've been selling efficiency for over 50 years now.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Just plan your route a little bit, choose nice and quiet roads. In the winter it's always nice to ride north and south, that way you get the driest route and less likely to hit black ice.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell, menswear, it fits.
what have you got?
Okay. Chicks World, party time, excellent.
Love it!
Chicks World. Chicks World.
Right.
Hoki mai noa. The man universally known as the Christchurch Wizard turned 89 over the weekend. And in the spirit of his 47-year reign as the official wizard of New Zealand, he's celebrated by being appointed spiritual advisor to a Canterbury bakery.
Shazam! Ian Brackenbury Channel, or Jack as he likes to be known as, is perhaps the only state-appointed wizard in the world. But being recently cast from Christchurch City Council's payroll hasn't stopped him from taking on a new official role as spiritual advisor to Kids Cakes and Bakery. The Wiz celebrated in central Christchurch today, reminiscing about his long career, and he reckons he's having just as much fun today as he did when he first started in 1974.
Absurd. It's typical of the world. The world is hilarious. People are getting more and more peculiar and stupid every day. I'm laughing all the time, and all I can do is admit that I'm not part of it. I've nothing to do with this silly nonsense. So I'm just here to have fun and amuse and lift your spirits, because I think mental health is far more important than physical health. That's my strange way. People go mad quite easily, and the world is full of maniacs at the moment.
Bakery owner Martin Meehan says people often misunderstand the wizard's role, but believes he's still very important to the future of the city.
Yes, I do, and I think people misunderstand his role at times. You know, they may get offended, and there's always somebody to get offended, but Jack's role is a wizard. Wizards are grumpy, curmudgeonly, contrary. This is what wizards do, and you have to accept that. But the long-term benefits to Christchurch is of saying we're the only city in the world that has a wizard.
The wizard is set to receive free coffees for life in return for his pastoral care of the staff and management at the bakery, and this includes casting out evil spirits and upsetting fanatics of all kinds as required. In Christchurch, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. A small protest outside the Dunedin City Council in support of Councillor Lee Vandervis, who can't attend meetings due to vaccine rules. Anti-coal protesters appear in Dunedin's District Court following weekend action at the railway stations which halted trains. And bus company Otago Road Services is parking up for good, affected by COVID and a loss of school bus contracts. And now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, we welcome Associate Editor Jo Simpson. Kia ora, Jo.
Hi. Well done. The South has reached 90% double vaccination.
Yeah, great news.
Yeah, just in time with a suspected case in Fiordland. More on unvaccinated Councillor Lee Vandervis, who's taking legal action as he attempted to attend the DCC meeting despite requiring the vaccine pass. A couple celebrating the 70th wedding anniversary believe they were lucky to find each other. And we have some exciting exclusive news coming up for the Otago Rally.
Great, Jo. Thank you very much. And time now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with today's southern view, taken of threatening clouds over Dunedin Harbour. Looking at the situation, a mild day ahead tomorrow as humid northerly airflow increases over the region. Colder air to arrive late Thursday. Let's check out the individual centres now. Heading to the northwest of the island, it's cloudy in both Westport and Greymouth on 18 degrees. Partial cloud in the northeast, some sun peeking through and keeping things warm. Nelson on 22, Blenheim on 24. Partial cloud down the Canterbury coast as well. Those top towns sharing a high of 18 degrees, Ashburton reaching 23. Fairly consistent down south, moderate northerlies carry increasing cloud, all between 21 and 23. In central, Tiano's the odd one out, 19 degrees and rain. North to northwesterlies do blow right across the region though, it's otherwise fine everywhere else on 27 or 28 degrees. Further north it's fine everywhere with moderate northeast winds. Cooler on the coast, however, 21 or 22 degrees, while it's 27 or 28 inland. Low cloud hangs around parts of Dunedin tonight on 10 degrees. Tomorrow, early sun is covered by high clouds dragged by moderate nor'east winds, a high of 20 and a low of 12. And it's overcast on Thursday, and as winds change from northerlies to southerlies, the rain kicks in, 21 and 9 degrees. And another fine night for Invercargill, an overnight low of 8. Fine tomorrow too, with northwest winds and high cloud, a high of 23 and a low of 11. But it's rain on Thursday as northwesterlies change to southwest and the rain eases slightly over the day, a high of 18 and a low of 9 degrees. And that's the news this Tuesday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz, and you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. Nō reira, kia pai te pō, ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.